Hey guys, Haro here with my friend Mandie Boyd, and we just wanted to talk to you guys today. Mandie just recently made the switch over to Keller Williams, and we want to talk about what that was about. I'll get it out of my mouth in a second. What that was about, what was important to her, and just hear from her a little bit of her story. Like, if you don't know her, you really need to know her. Her story is really cool. She and her husband have built a phenomenal real estate team. They'll do about $20 million in production this year. But I don't want to tell the story, so I'm going to go over to Mandie and let her start. So, Mandie, how long did you get in real estate?
I got my license in 2006, and I was an admin to an agent at the Cliffs.
Okay.
And so did that, and actually in 2008, I was 8 months pregnant, and for some reason they hired me to be an agent there.
Okay.
Which I'm thankful for.
So 8 months pregnant, you become an agent.
Yeah,
Then what
2008.
happens?
So I was a listing agent at the Cliffs, and I managed their resales. I think at one time we managed about 300 properties.
Wow.
And so it taught me, obviously, work ethic.
300 listed properties?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
It was a fun time. It was it was a challenge. It pushed me. It taught me the foundations of real estate, which I'm forever grateful to the Cliffs for. So in 2011, I left the Cliffs. They were going through a tough time, and so it was just a time where they were kind of really going down to the core of people to get through it. And so I came out into the Greenville real estate market, and I thankfully discovered a great coach, and he taught me the value of lead generation and prospecting.
Okay.
And I had no clue what it was. When I was at the Cliffs, the listings came to us.
Yeah.
They literally called us.
Right.
And so it was a different thing for me, but at that time I was the breadwinner of our family.
Okay.
And so it was kind of a make it or break it kind of thing.
Okay.
And my husband was wonderful because he's like, babe, I know you've got this. You are going to do great. And he really encouraged me to go out there. So I started it. I started lead generating. I think I started in August, and my first 3 or 4 months, I think I had one closing. It was like...
Whoa, time out. Lead generating for 3 months and one closing. What did lead generation look like? Like, what were you doing every day? What was this coach? What were they telling you to do? How did that look? What did that look like?
So he's a great coach, and he was essentially saying spend at least an hour calling for sell by owners and expireds.
Okay.
And
so every day you were spending an hour calling for sell by owners and expireds.
Every day I would spend about an hour or two prepping that, following up with that, but I spent an hour on the phones at least every day.
Was that a certain number of calls?
No, it was just an hour.
Okay.
My goal was an hour.
Okay.
So that started my business. The first 3 months I had one closing. And then after that, my first full year, so I guess 2012, I ended up with 25 closings.
25 closings in 2012. That's your first full year in general brokerage. You're the one, like, the listings aren't coming to you. Okay.
Yep.
Great job.
I enjoyed it thoroughly. So then, 2013, I upped my game. I tried to prospect a little bit longer, and it was about time then. It wasn't about contacts. It was just about, I'm going to spend an hour and a half prospecting instead.
Okay.
Cool. I heard the coach in 2012. I hired him until 2013.
Okay.
And so 2013, I ended up closing about 30 deals that year.
Okay.
And then
what was the volume on 30 deals for you?
No clue.
No
I only
clue.
looked at units. I never
6-7 million. Does that roughly?
5 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
let's
a little
just
bit
say
lower
5.
Price.
Yes.
150 maybe.
Typically my average has been 175 to 180.
175 to 180.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
I honestly pursued that on purpose.
Okay.
Because I had dealt with a high-end clientele, and not that there's anything wrong with that. I wanted to do something different.
Got it. And at this time, you're at a local independent brokerage.
Correct.
Got it.
Wonderful, and enjoyed it.
Love it.
So that was 2013, 2014, my husband came on with me. And it was just at a point where I couldn't do it alone. He quit his job and he came on. And it took us a little while to really figure out that dynamic with a husband and wife. You know, what's his role, what's my role.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I always call it, it really is iron sharpening iron.
Okay.
I love the way that the Lord puts two opposite people together. And truly it's iron sharpening iron.
Okay.
And I see the value in that. My first year of marriage, I don't know that I saw that, but now 10 years later, I see the value of that.
Love it.
So he came on.
And you guys are totally different.
Very.
Totally
so I'm
different.
a high D.
Okay.
Nothing else.
Nothing else.
I'm
all
not,
D.
All D.
She is all D.
He is He is a CSI.
CSI. Interesting. Okay.
So
for those of you guys who don't know, she's talking about the DISC. It's a personality profiling system. High D is a very assertive individual. High C, which Justin is, a very analytical individual. And sometimes those two are like oil and water.
But we love each other. So he came on. At first, we were both going to go after listings.
Yeah.
And then we discovered that he really loved buyers.
Okay.
And so he became essentially our buyer's agent and really did well. So in 2014, I wish I had my numbers in front of me, but I want to say we ended up doing like 60-something deals.
That's
something
terrific.
like that.
So you've gone from 25, 30 to 60, you and your husband. Do you have anyone else on the team at this point?
No.
Just you and Justin?
It was just he and I.
Okay.
And that was close to the time that actually I met you.
Okay.
It might have been 2015, but I started really looking at my long-term goals of, now we're doing a good amount of production. What does this look like long-term? Because I want to do this forever.
Yeah.
And so I started thinking about, I have an 8-year-old, and I started, really considering I'd really want to be more of a presence in her life.
Love it.
I want to be in the car line. I want to be taking her to gymnastics. I want to be doing all those things for her and being a part of her life and not just going on listing appointments in the evenings and doing everything all by myself, essentially. And so you reached out to me, which I was very thankful for, and you said, what do you want out of life? And I said, I want to be a mom. I want to be a mom. I want to have a great business, but I want to be a mom. And
for most real estate, like that's not being a good mom and having a lot of production. For most people, that those are two things that run in opposite directions.
From
Yes.
what I see, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I think I talk to a lot of women in real estate. I love speaking to women in real estate.
Yeah.
I love hearing their story about how they balance their life, and most women struggle with this.
Okay.
I would say almost all women in real estate struggle with this.
Got it.
If you're going to be successful in real estate, it's a very demanding business.
Very.
And we want to all, as women, make our clients happy. And so at times that is at the sacrifice of our families.
Yep.
And I think that we struggle with that. We
Men
struggle.
too.
Sure. But I'm speaking from the woman's perspective.
I know.
So I think we all struggle with that, and I think we feel a lot of guilt about that. And so I met with you. I said, I think that my big why, my emotional goal is to be more present with my children, to be not a stay-at-home mom necessarily, but certainly to spend more time at home. And you said, you need to read this book. And you gave me the MREA book.
What's that? MREA. Which book is that?
The Millionaire Real Estate Agent.
Oh, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah. So you gave me this book and you said, you need to hire somebody. You've got to hire somebody. I struggled with giving people off even to my husband, who I trusted completely. You've got to hire somebody. And I was like, well, my clients really, they trust me. The reason they're coming to me is because of who I am, and they hear my name, and I just feel like if I hand them off to somebody, I'm just giving them second best. And you said, you actually opened up the book to the page and you said, read that right there. And it was exactly, and I'm probably going to butcher it, but it said, your clients and your people will come to you, not because of you, but because of the standards that you represent.
Yes.
And that was like a breakthrough for me of, okay, I've got to train these people to my standards so that I feel comfortable that our clients are coming to us. And you explained it like a doctor's office or a lawyer's office, where you go to the doctor's office, you see the nurse first, and then you see the doctor. You go to the lawyer's office, you might talk to a paralegal rather than a lawyer. And it's not that you're receiving, secondary service. You're still receiving the standard of service that individual represents. It's just that individual has figured out how to leverage their time.
Yep.
And so I began looking at that. In 2015, we hired our first part-time assistant, and then we went to our first full-time assistant.
Okay.
When we went to our first full-time assistant, that was a breakthrough in our business.
Tell me about that.
Complete breakthrough. I had not even gone through career visioning, what it's called now, of how to hire people. I had not gone through that. I literally just sat with you and you said, look at this, look at this, look at this. And I started doing that. I want to say we interviewed like 20 people.
Wow.
For the assistant position.
Good for you.
So we went through a really thorough process.
I don't know if I knew that. That's really cool.
We went through what I considered a thorough process. We ended up with Kelly, who we still have on our team.
Yeah, she's awesome.
And she actually, it's really funny because she did not come from an admin background.
Okay.
And so we've trained her, but we saw in her the qualities of a hard worker,
Yep.
of somebody who could run our team,
Yep.
and somebody who was willing to basically get down and get dirty to get the job done.
Love it.
And so when she came on, it really took our team to another level. And so Justin was doing buyers, I was doing listings, and we had this full-time admin. But I was still in the day-to-day.
Yep.
And I wanted to figure out, okay, how can I do this? Because at that point, and I'll share a little bit of a backstory, we had lost a pregnancy. And I think when a woman goes through that, it's just a very emotional, kind of gut-wrenching, soul-searching kind of time.
Yeah.
Of what do I really want out of this life? And so I decided that I needed to take myself out of production, because in order to be a mom at home, that was the decision that I was making. So we started looking for a buyer's agent. We hired Courtney, who is phenomenal. She's
Yeah.
going to close. I think she's going to close 30 this year.
That's
and
awesome.
This is her first full year in real estate.
That's awesome.
And at this point, we've got 109 homes under contract for like 19.8 million. So we're like pushing for that last one. When 110 and 20
One
million
more,
is like our
And you need
jam.
20 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this year has been a phenomenal year. I had a baby in April.
Yay.
He's 7 months. Joshua. Yep.
He's cute.
So I was able to take about 3 months off with him.
Great.
And
business didn't stop.
it didn't. In fact, we've had our best year, and I took 3 months off.
Amazing.
And so, and it's truly a testimony.
And you used to think you were the most talented person on the team, and now
which is so.
now you got a team that runs with or without you, and it's
And they love what they're doing. We
Love
have
it.
fun doing it. Our clients are happy. It's just, I never knew that this was a possibility.
Yeah.
And you opened my mind to say, look at what you can do when you have the right training. Number one, I had to learn how to hire these people.
Yeah.
I had to learn the right way to hire them, and I had to learn the right way to build the team for my big why, my
Yes.
big emotional goal. And then I started getting around people who were going to challenge me. You know, I love my last brokerage, and a boutique brokerage is wonderful if you want to go here. And I was going there and I was doing well, but when I started getting around people that challenged me to get beyond my thinking, that's when it went here.
Okay.
And that is what I'll be forever grateful for. And the reason that we ended up making the switch was because we wanted to be around big thinkers. We wanted to be around people who challenged us. We wanted to be around people who were growing their business.
Because you were the kind of the top dog.
Well, there were other agents who did wonderful.
Yeah.
And there was the broker did great things. And
Right.
so, but we were doing something different than everybody else.
Okay.
So we were doing a lot of resales, and they were doing a lot of new construction.
Okay.
And so we were just doing something completely different. But it was a little bit like reinventing the wheel.
Yeah.
And we considered opening our own brokerage. I was talking to somebody this morning, and he said, why didn't you open your own brokerage? Because I'm a broker. I could have done that and gone that route.
Why wouldn't you do that? Like, that seems like the natural kind of progression. If you hit a ceiling, you're in another brokerage, we all know that it's not the broker that brings us the business, it's us that brings us the business. It's our relationship with the clients that brings us the business. So once we've established that client base, why wouldn't we launch our own brokerage?
So for me, it was, why would I reinvent the wheel? That was what I kept coming back to. Why am I reinventing the wheel? I think that I had this preconceived notion about what Keller Williams was.
Okay.
I saw the red signs everywhere, and I was like, you don't see the agent, you see Keller Williams. And we did not want to be lost in a brokerage. That wasn't our intent. So I actually had a frank conversation with you about that. And I said, we don't want to lose who we are behind the Keller Williams model.
Yeah.
We believe in the model, but we also have who we are.
Yeah.
And we want to be true to who we are. And so I think you said, what makes you think that? And I said, well, I see all the red signs. You said, you can do your own sign. You have to put the Keller Williams logo right there, but your logo is the sign. And I think you said Gary believes in an agent-centric model. And I thought, oh, okay. I said, a couple of other just objections about why I thought the Keller Williams it was all about the brokerage and not about the agent. And you showed me in writing, like in the books he's written, how he actually wants you to be the agent. He wants you to be the face rather than the brokerage. And I think that flipped it for me. Like, why am I doing this on my own then? If he's created this great system, if I can be around other great agents and not corner ourselves off and not be in community, because I love community, I love being in community. Why are we doing that? We need to get around the people who are actually successful.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, when I got over my preconceived notions of Keller Williams, I saw, the vision of people being around the best of the best. There was a no-brainer. I was done.
Yeah, no, there's legal implication as to why the brokerage name needs to be on the sign, because we are affiliated with the brokerage.
Yes.
And the vision of Keller Williams has always been, and sometimes we don't tell the story really well, is that, each agent has the opportunity to grow their own business. And we have, I think you alluded to it, it's an interdependent model where the brokerage is a business and the agent runs a business, and both businesses rise together. And at the end of the day, like, that's what you guys latched onto, is that you had the opportunity to basically have your own brokerage within a brokerage.
There you go.
And benefit from the freedom that comes from having your own team, your own business.
Yep.
While plugging into an atmosphere that helps lots of people create businesses. So you get like the benefit of rubbing shoulders with other people that are going through the same stuff.
Bingo.
Yeah. Love it.
That's it all day long.
What are some of the other maybe preconceived notions you had about Keller Williams that, as you've gotten into it, perhaps you've learned differently or seen a different perspective?
Well, I think that, people say drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And if there's anything...
We put vodka in our Kool-Aid.
Okay,
yeah.
Well,
that's what's different.
There you go. Okay. So I think that, my husband is very much a loyal individual, and he looks at things and he's like, no, we're not doing that, just for the basic reason that everybody else does it that way. We're not doing it that way, And
right.
So I'm thankful for that perspective.
I can relate.
Most of the time, yes. I'm thankful for that perspective most of the time. And so I think just, not drinking necessarily the Kool-Aid, being true to who we are,
yeah.
but understanding that Keller Williams provides you to be your own individual. And I think, and I know I've said that, but I can't say that enough to, I think that Moses actually said this, or somebody else may have said it, but, other brokerages permit teams.
Yeah.
Keller Williams builds them.
Right.
And so just this to see, not just us having our own individual ideas, but people coming around those ideas and saying, let me help you. When I actually got to know the people of Keller Williams, every single person was willing to help. Mm-hmm. And we're competitors. I mean, at the end of the day, I might have gone on a listing appointment and competed against that person at some point. But they were like, let's work together. Let's figure out how we can make this work. So taking my individual ideas allowed me to be an individual and helping me grow my business and me helping them grow their business.
Yeah.
Just that attitude of community that is honestly nothing that I've seen, and so it's just really, really cool.
Yeah, and I think the thing that probably doesn't get talked about enough, and I know there's, you're about a month into this now, and there's going to be a lot of learning that goes on in this department, but
yeah.
The profit sharing system that Keller Williams put into place in late 80s, early 90s, and then it got solidified, where each of us has a stake in how the company does. So I want you to do well.
Yeah.
Because we have a stake in how, like, the better you do, the better the company does. The better the company does, the more profit is shared.
Sure.
And everybody that participates in profit share has that opportunity. And so it's like, of course I'm going to share. Why wouldn't I share?
Mm-hmm.
I want the office to be profitable. I want you to be profitable. And it comes from a mindset of abundance. Like, that there's not a fixed pie, and in order for me to get my piece, you can't get a piece. That the pie is unlimited. That I can get a big, big piece.
Yeah.
And you can get a big, big piece, and we can grow, and everyone has that. So the abundance mindset, where most people come at things from scarcity.
Yeah.
Like, in order for me to win, you have to lose. And really, one of the fundamental tenets of Keller Williams' value system is a win-win. That I want you to win, and I want to win, and we all win.
Yeah.
So I think that's a lot. I think we're like 20 minutes at this point. And another thing that I thought was really cool, it just hit me, and then we'll wrap up, is, a lot of companies, you have to put the company phone number on the sign. Whose number's on your sign now?
Well, and Justin's. So Justin gets all of our leads, and that's a huge lead source for our buyer's agents.
Well, who
I
got the
would say-
listing?
Who got the listing?
Yeah.
Justin did.
Oh, so Justin gets the leads from his own listings.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
And actually,
Fascinating how that works.
People ask me, how do you provide leads to your buyer's agents? What are you paying for? What are you doing? Well, we're not paying for anything.
Yeah.
We are a very much we prospect. We're not paying for any seller leads. Our buyer leads come from our sign calls. I would say 80% of all of our buyer sales come from sign calls. And it's because our buyers do a good job of working those, and because we have been allowed to put that sign, and that